All right, we are live on SEO Leadership today, and we have such an exciting episode today. So first things first, we have a new member on our team, Robin, who has just recently joined. So you will be seeing much more of Robin from that side, and she's going to be joining me today as we welcome on Ian Ferguson, who is the head of SEO at VentureStream. Ian has recently become a LinkedIn top voice in organic search, which is very exciting. So we're going to get into that a little bit today as well. If you're interested in stuff like that, yeah, listen along for that. And he talks a lot about any SEO centric content on his feed, as well as his insightful weekly newsletter, which is the SEO TLDR, which we'll chat about as well. And at VentureStream, Ian oversees the SEO strategy for their e-commerce and lead gen clients, helping to identify and adapt emerging trends and search behavior. So, Ian, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you feeling?
Very good. Yeah, nice to chat with you guys. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Ian, can you tell us a little bit about your backstory, how you got into SEO, and a little bit of how you got to the point where you are now at VentureStream?
Yeah, of course. So I had to write the dates down. I thought you might ask this, so I had to write the dates down because I'm terrible with dates. But I graduated university in kind of 2009 with like a background in like a business and marketing degree. And as soon as I came out of university, applied for jobs, and everybody wanted at least 2 years experience of working somewhere before you could get a job.
Yeah.
My first job was actually for my sister, and she ran a kind of home accessory shop up here in the northeast, and
Awesome.
kind of brought on as like a marketing assistant. But that's when I basically like built my first website using kind of Dreamweaver and Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. So kind of self-taught SEO at that point, just building a website from scratch. Did that for kind of 2 years, and at the time I thought I'd kind of clocked SEO because I could get the products to rank. Quickly realized that that wasn't the case, but went into my first in office role for a company kind of like a vending machine, a coffee machine company, and that's when I was kind of more able to kind of hone that online marketing kind of aspect of it. And that was thinking back, it was absolutely everything. So it was from uploading the products to writing the descriptions to editing the photos and photoshops to be kind of tweeting about them, posting on social media, writing newsletters, like absolutely everything. Many hats, too many hats in hindsight.
Oh,
So I was there for around about 3 years until I got my first kind of agency job in 2015. And that was a company called kind of Flow Digital. And that's when I was, again, became more specialized as my career went on. And that was, managing the digital marketing campaigns for a few clients. Still had a hand in kind of PPC back then. And then Flow Digital got acquired by VentureStream, who I'm currently working for and have been for
okay.
the last 5 years. And
Okay.
again, was SEO manager there originally, and then about 6 months ago got made into kind of the head of SEO. So just really helping kind of grow out the team, and like educating from like the technical SEO side of things there, kind of integrating things with the content, and yeah, managed thankfully now to leave all of the other hats behind, which is PPC and email and stuff. Yeah, it's too spread a bit thinly back then, but I think that's just the way it goes. When you go
Mm,
in-house, it's kind of like the marketing assistant gets everything.
yeah, no,
It's not very
definitely.
efficient. You do it master of jack of all trades, master of none. But yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty much the history.
awesome. I wanted to actually ask, moving from in-house to agency, how was that transition like? What did you experience during that time? I mean, for anyone that may be looking to go from in-house to agency, what can they expect?
Yeah, well, it's very much you can kind of be more specialized in what you do, but then
Mm,
you've got, instead of answering for kind of like to one company and doing everything in one company, it's doing like well, the same thing for kind of many companies of being kind of
mm,
specialized. So it's time management comes into it a lot more, and really being able to kind of plan out your day and plan the tasks for every client throughout the month. You've got that
mm,
kind of luxury in house where you can kind of, you know, do a bit here and there, and just kind of the month goes by. So it's a bit of like a shock to the system, but I really like the idea of, yeah, just working with all sorts of different clients and expanding my knowledge into different areas there, like B2B, e-commerce, that kind of thing. Um, less repetitive, I'd say.
Okay, awesome. And when VentureStream got acquired by your previous company, was that, if I understand correctly, was that over lockdown?
No, so
Just
it was
before?
Flow was the old company, and it was acquired by VentureStream in 2018.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
it was
Okay.
probably
Awesome.
so yeah, just like kind of pre-lockdown, and that was just basically like a merger, so just a faster way of them kind of expanding the team, and then the client base through that.
And then with that, did you were you a part of the team lead at that point, or were you being led by someone?
So yeah, so I was brought on as kind of SEO manager, but it was very much
Okay.
kind of managing like the SEO side of it as opposed to like the people and the teams, that kind of thing. So when I first started Venture Stream, there was kind of four people in the, I guess what is now the SEO and content team.
Mm.
So previously it was just it was I say, like, just more focused on the content in terms of just getting out like so many blogs a month, kind of working with clients to see what they wanted, but there wasn't that background of kind of like keyword research that that comes with it, which is now kind of integral to it. It was almost like, well, it was kind of what's interesting for this client, what would the users expect to read. So part of my job when I kind of first came in was to also educate on that side in terms of like showing
Okay.
people the tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush and finding what the demand is, and then incorporating that into it as well.
Mm.
And yeah, and since then we're about there's about 7 people on the team, myself, and we've got like a technical SEO, well, SEO consultant as well, who's more like technical focused, and then yeah, probably about like 5 kind of copywriters who are all now kind of educated on that kind of SEO side of it as well.
Oh,
So that was
awesome.
interesting, kept me
It's
busy.
a crazy evolution. And yeah, just managing a team and getting them through like all of those changes as well must be very interesting. When you are looking to build on the team, I think if we could start off with the fire question, which kind of puts most of our guests on the spot, is how do you identify the right time to hire?
Very right.
um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good
is
question.
there
It's a good
something?
question.
Yeah.
We've got so internally we've got like kind of internal kind of utilization score. Um,
Oh,
and that's well basically how much time we're selling versus how much time we're able to sell. And it's quite fair to be honest, but we'll get to a point where we're around about like kind of 70-80%. And as long as that's sustainable, for a kind of couple of months, that's when we'll look to kind of bring someone on board. um, which is interesting because I know I've got friends in other agencies where it's like the time they're selling is over 100%,
mm,
and it's not sustainable. And then all of a sudden, if you get a new client, you haven't got the resources there. It kind of gets out of hand. But yeah, that's like something that kind of myself and the management team look at on a monthly basis in terms of like what's coming up, what existing clients we've got, and like at one point are we going to be kind of stressed.
mm.
And that's particularly more important for kind of Venture Stream because we operate like a 4-day work week as well. So time management is absolutely critical then when you've got kind of fewer days. And yeah,
How do you guys find the 4-day work week, by the way? I thought it was quite interesting that you guys, I think this is one of our first guests that we actually have on that has adopted full on the 4-day work week.
yeah, it was no, it's interesting because that came off the back of lockdown. Um,
Okay.
and it kind of and there was almost like a trial period of just kind of doing that. And just from it was from the kind of C-suite level, it's just all about getting that work-life balance kind of thing.
Mm,
And because we had that
okay.
luxury of we're never kind of over servicing,
Mm,
um, or over utilizing our time, we've
mm.
got that kind of flexibility. So yeah, it was like there's other agencies out there where it's almost like a fake 4-day week where it's kind of 4 days, but it's longer days. Whereas first it
Uh,
was literally like cutting the time you have to spend at work by 20%, but also expecting everybody to kind of manage the clients in the same way.
mm,
But yeah, it was a very much a trial period, and you came to terms of if this didn't work or if they sacrificed the quality of the work, that was it. So I think
okay.
having that was everyone kind of got on board. But yeah, it's great. It's great, and I've got a 2-year-old at the minute, so I'm spending that extra day
Oh,
just
nice.
out and about, especially now the weather's
Nice.
turned
That's
nice.
awesome. That's lovely. Yeah, Robin, you have a question?
Yeah. Ian, do you guys operate on a hybrid setup, or are you fully remote? What's the story there at Venture?
So yeah, like fully remote now. We have kind of, again, that's something that came out of lockdown because everyone was kind of forced to work from home. And because we're all kind of, we've been, like I've been at VentureStream for like 5 years, and there's most of the people that started with still work there. So it's very much like a senior role. So we felt like we could do it. Whereas I know if you've got a lot of kind of juniors or a lot of kind of apprentices, it's almost unfair to have that kind of working from home, working remotely, because then you just don't learn. But yeah, we pretty much kind of, again, proved that we could work from home. We do encourage kind of the colleagues to come in like once a month, or on certain days, just because I think your collaboration can suffer a bit if everyone's remote. So we try, especially with client meetings as well, make sure that everybody's in then. On like new client kickoffs, everyone's kind of around then. Just different atmosphere when you're in the office.
Absolutely, and I'm glad I clarified that, because it sort of brings me to my first question of the day. Company culture is so important in all businesses, and it is sort of created and fostered differently when you're remote versus hybrid versus fully in person. Like, what do you guys do, or what is fundamental to your company structure in order to just maintain that positive culture, even though you aren't necessarily interacting with each other in person all the time? Like, do you guys have some, particular strategies?
Yeah, well, we've got kind of like really active kind of Discord chats. And there's one for kind of each team. And every morning then it's like, it's kind of like how you get that office vibe in terms of like, how was your weekend, that kind of thing. And then the way we manage work is through Basecamp as well. So that's quite collaborative in terms of everyone see everything that's going on. If a client puts in a question, like everyone who's in that's got visibility on it. And yeah, we try to encourage, like I say, the odd day where we'll come in. And when that happens, it's usually a case of like, it'd be like a free fruit Friday is a thing. So again, encourage people to come in. Just, the free fruit always manages to get people in. Yeah, and then the odd kind of social night as well. So drinks at the pub.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and actually to build off of that, when you are looking to hire, can you, I guess, tell us maybe a little bit about what you look for within an SEO candidate to join your team, and ideally what sort of skill sets or aspects of an SEO stand out to you in particular?
Yeah. It's a good question, because it might sound cliche, but we always kind of hire for fit first, in terms of like fitting into that company ethos, choosing someone that we think everyone would get along with. We never tend to hire anybody that's kind of like more senior than the people that are there below, if that makes sense. We'll always encourage the team members to kind of grow into those positions. So we've never, hopefully they would never hire like a head of SEO that would be above me. It would be a case of working that up. So to be honest, we're just looking for like soft skills a lot of the time, because we encourage everyone, to get actively like communicate with clients, that kind of thing, and just like enthusiasm about kind of what we do, and some sort of drive, which is it's almost harder to kind of to hire for in some cases. It's not just like a qualification or like experience. It's are you going to enjoy the work that we do?
And just to build off of that, I think in terms of soft skills, it's such a hot topic at the moment with a lot of the guests that we've brought on and stuff like that. But yeah, when you were going into your position of head off and building up your soft skills, were there any sort of practical things that you identified or ways of self-assessment or something where you sort of improved upon your own soft skills that maybe other juniors can look to explore?
Yeah, definitely, because I'm a kind of classic introvert. Even this like casual chat, give me some nerves beforehand. But it's one of those things you just gotta. Well, I found that I've just gotta almost like throw myself in the deep end in terms of just like talking opportunities, kind of thing. I did so back at Flow, we did a couple of events, and where I talked through kind of SEO changes at the time. I guess the university helps prepare for that a little bit in terms of just the class kind of talks you would do, group activities, that kind of thing. But yeah, it is one of those things you've got to just practice by doing and putting yourself out there. I think a good place to start is with the social media as well. You just post and stuff that you learn about. You've almost got to protect, like, assume and hope that nobody sees it, but just get used to kind of putting ideas out there. So I think everybody suffers from kind of like imposter syndrome, especially early on. But I feel like the more you do it, the more you kind of get comfortable with it, and it's something I'm still working with as well. Kind of posting more actively on LinkedIn, trying to do conversations like this, and hopefully eventually talking at an event like Brighton SEO. That's the ultimate goal for me.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. Robin?
Yeah, we talk about imposter syndrome quite a lot because I think it affects every single person, no matter what level you're at the moment. But how do you sort of maintain your confidence and work on imposter syndrome? Do you have like specific advice for people out there that are still learning to put themselves out there?
Yeah. I guess that, like, education is key in terms of like self-educating. Just make sure that you are dedicating enough time to basically know what's going on in the industry. And you also find that, like, following a lot of the key influencers on LinkedIn, that kind of thing. And anyone generally that's in your niche, following those to see what they're kind of putting out there. And I found it, like, looking at what's out there, a lot of it to me is a lot of it's kind of generic stuff that people are putting out there, and there's a lot of like bad salesmen on YouTube and that kind of thing. And watching that kind of assures you to, like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing SEO for 12 years, but I still think, who am I to tell anybody to do this for their website, even though I've got a track record of kind of growing traffic and revenue. So yeah, just knowing that confidence, but I guess being humble enough to know that there's a lot to learn, but and I also find like specializing in a certain route could probably help as well, because it's very difficult for everyone to know everything about SEO. Knowing about like the content, local SEO, technical, link building, all that kind of stuff. So I think focusing on a niche as well as your career progresses is also kind of beneficial.
Yeah, and I think especially with an industry like this one that moves so quickly and evolves literally a week later, there's something new. It's very there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of room for like personal development and continuous growth in this space. And especially in the educational sense, there's a lot to go and learn about, no matter how long you've been in the industry. So that's a really great tip. And you've been in a management space for quite a while now, but when you were still like a junior, we obviously learn a lot from the people that manage us, and we either look at them and say, okay, I really enjoyed this approach, or this is something that I wouldn't necessarily do. Is there any particular like characteristic of leadership that you took really well to as a junior that you carried over when you became a manager?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think so I've had some good managers and bad managers.
We learn from the bad ones too.
I guess it's just like it's just, I don't know how to put this, but being there for to answer the questions, and kind of being as responsive as you can. Yeah. So even working from home, it's like if we've got one of the juniors that's got a question, it's like, let's just jump on a hangout, jump on a meet, like kind of tell us what it's about. But also, like, from a management point of view, almost getting them to draw out their own conclusions, which many of the time they kind of know about, but they just want that kind of validated. So it's not so much about like dictating kind of what I would do or what you should do. It's like, what would you do, and why would you do that kind of thing? Because I think for me, it's important to get everyone as autonomous as they can be. So I think ultimately that's where you get that satisfaction from work. If it's just a case of like, I'm the manager, here's 10 things you need to do for this client, you go do them. Don't ask any questions. I feel like that's kind of a bad culture to be in. Just that makes sense, being there. It sounds really, really cheesy. Being there for someone.
Well, that's the more difficult part, because I think especially if people are coming to you asking you questions, it's a lot easier and a lot quicker for you to just give an answer. But that does nothing for the person. It doesn't, build their confidence. It doesn't build their critical thinking skills if you just give them the answer and say, do it. So it definitely is a lot more effort from your side in terms of actually guiding them to their own conclusions. But it's so valuable because they'll take that thought process wherever they go. So that's definitely a very good sign in a manager. They're investing in their people.
It's just not sustainable as well, is it? Really? If I'm managing 5 people and I'm telling each one of them what to do, that would be my whole job.
But also,
it's a long term,
Yeah, so then all you do is create clones as well. Then everyone thinks the same. So, yeah.
I was laughing because we had the same question lined up, so I'm like, great minds think alike. But moving on to, I guess, another topic of side projects. It's something that you mentioned at the beginning of the call, and I'm super interested in it at the moment. We are currently working on a series about it, on a blog series about it at the moment. So I'd love to pick your brain a little bit about that. Can you, I guess, just give us a few tips on maybe how you approached starting your side projects when you were first learning about SEO and starting your own website? And I guess if there are some people that are listening that are looking to get into SEO that haven't even started, do you have any tips for them, I guess? Yeah,
I guess early on, it is literally a case of oftentimes doing work for free. So like me starting to work with my sister and like building that website was all self-taught, that kind of thing. And I think it's the only way you can kind of like sell your own skills to show you can demonstrate what you're doing with SEO. And it is, I feel like it's getting more difficult nowadays for juniors, purely because a lot of the things I would do was kind of really early on. A lot of those have been replaced by kind of like AI, ChatGPT. Things like writing meta descriptions or like really short format stuff is done. So I think the self-teaching thing is really important, because I still don't think they teach that much in education. I think when I started, we had like a very, very brief kind of internet marketing kind of module. It was tiny. So yeah, but it's very much putting yourself out there. There's lots of resources to learn from. It's super cheap. You can get kind of free domains and just set up a WordPress site for free nowadays. If you're not confident in kind of coding or development, you use something like Element or a Divi, the kind of page builder stuff. Google's kind of fine with that today, as long as you've got the content to back it up. And you can do things like create okay content and good titles, descriptions, images, and then think about how to rank that. Kind of set up a free Google Search Console, see what the issues are there, just learn from there. I think early on in your career, you've got to pretty much be like 80% learning, 20% doing, until you get 5 years down the road, when that should shift in terms of 80% doing and 20% kind of top up training as you go. And that's all I stress, like friends or family with websites, that kind of thing. You could kind of cut your teeth on, if that makes sense.
Awesome. You mentioned AI as well. I wanted to sort of just briefly explore that aspect of things. How has it affected, I guess, your, I don't know if you can maybe explore it particularly within VentureStream or the work that you're doing and the work with clients, but even just the e-commerce industry overall. How have you sort of felt the evolution of it affect you guys at the moment?
Yeah, it's a big part of it nowadays. And eventually, we've actually worked on our own kind of like e-commerce tool called Tidesmith, which is all kind of AI, kind of a way to write short form e-commerce copy, such as meta titles and product descriptions, that kind of thing. And it does a lot of the things that previously were kind of nice to haves for us. So it would audit a site and would see you've got like 3,000 missing image alt texts. And there's an experienced SEO I knew that, actually spending like 2 days on writing those manually, the actual increase you'd get from that is negligible. You say it's a nice to have, but now with AI, we can kind of literally paste all of those image URLs in a sheet, and the image, like ChatGPT's open image API, would just go and like extract what that is into a format and then upload it. Same with meta descriptions as well, like product descriptions. We work on sites with like 5,000-10,000 products, and nobody in-house or agency would justify or have time to manually write those. But again, AI does a really good job at the minute of just summarizing like the on-page copy, turning that into like a meta description, which is optimized for kind of click-through rate.
Wow.
And yeah, so we've been able to do more basically within the retainers. And from our side, we'll just try to kind of educate kind of clients on how not to use it, because we do get questions in terms of like, well, do we need you to write blogs? Because I can just ask ChatGPT to write a blog and paste that in. And it's like, yes, but that's not doing X, Y, and Z. And don't do that, because Google's just recently de-indexed like thousands of sites for doing that. So that bubble's definitely burst. But yeah, it's definitely, and it's like I say, it keeps me something new every time. It keeps me busy. Like the AI overviews that went live this week, what the kind of problems with that are going to be, or how clients can adapt, that kind of thing. So definitely fast paced, keeping me busy.
Awesome. Robin?
Yeah, I think when AI started becoming like a more established thing in the workplace and in SEO and stuff, everyone was sort of like freaking out, saying, oh, it's going to replace a whole bunch of jobs and do things that other people can already do. And I've seen so many posts about it on my feed, just people unpacking that topic, like, will AI, will ChatGPT like replace SEO? And it's like, I still believe no, because I still believe that it is a very good tool, but it will never be able to do everything like as a person would do, that can continuously learn and adapt and just add a personal element to things. Like you can't expect AI to interact with people like we can. So have you started like using it as a tool and really unpacking the benefits of it, and sort of using it alongside your other go-to aspects, or how do you approach it?
Yeah, definitely. So I think like early on, especially if we've got a client that's in a certain niche, we almost kind of use it as like like an AI apprentice kind of thing, where it's almost like part of the process of can you generate some ideas for this, and just ask it things like what kind of topics would resonate with this. But to me that's more like a keyword research tool, because you can put that in the SEMrush, that kind of thing. But from the start, its knowledge is really good, and you can get ideas from it in terms of like idea generation, that kind of thing. And with some of the content guys use it as to start off like a long form blog in terms of like the ugly first draft, because that's something I really struggle with if it's just a blank page, just getting words on paper. So I'll often go in, ask it to do it, and then just pull it apart. So like I say, it's very much a tool at the minute. And I don't think AI is going to replace anybody. I think somebody that's using AI will replace somebody that isn't. So it's just using it to your advantage.
Yeah, powerful statement.
Quote.
I guess I did mention that time runs by very, very quickly, but I did want to end with one last question. And that was just the topic of being in a top voice category. So congratulations on that again. And I guess there's so many things that we could touch on, but I guess sort of the primary aspect of it is, how did you approach it? Did you know that it was something that you wanted to go after, or was it just something that came with building your personal brand, or posting a lot, or inputting in different articles? And to build off of that, how does it help continue building your personal brand as an SEO?
Yeah, it's something I definitely seen on like the SEOs that I follow, their profiles, and I wanted the shiny LinkedIn badge to be so it was a case of like, how can we get that? Because I think it is one of the things that it kind of validates what you're talking about. And that came off the back of kind of being in this head of SEO role and just wanting to put myself and like VentureStream's expertise forward, So that's the way to do it. And like you say, that was just through contributing to articles, and I kind of reverse engineered it in terms of looked at which of the LinkedIn voice articles were ranking for terms containing SEO. So like, for example, mobile SEO audits, that the LinkedIn holds the number 3 result for that. So then I was going on and kind of trying to add value to that by kind of contributing to it. And I did a post on that in terms of like how you can easily get in the top 10 of Google with just one contribution. And yeah, like I say, that's just for my own personal brand and just terms of, showcasing that. I guess any potential client would have confidence in our ability, and that's just one of the signals we kind of use.
Yeah, it's all about credibility. Yeah, it just adds a lot.
EEAT, as Google would say.
Where did you take notes?
What a powerful way to end off the webinar. But yeah, that is, as we said, time is just like it flies by so crazy when we chat. So yeah, Ian, thank you so much for coming on. For anyone listening that is interested in following Ian and what they are getting up to at VentureStream, we will be just tagging him in all the things that we are posting. So you can find his links in our YouTube, Spotify, and our newsletter. Ian, have a lovely weekend, and
you too.
enjoy the 4-day work week next week as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and we will chat very soon.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
You too, guys. Bye.